Reginald T Thornton, a singer, dancer, and actor from Gary, Indiana, is a graduate of Ball State University and is a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. He has appeared in numerous television shows such as Soul Train, Solid Gold, American Bandstand, The Wayne Brady Show, General Hospital, and much more. Reggie danced throughout Europe with the Black Ballet Jazz Dance Company of Los Angeles and was a member of the Central Avenue Dance Ensemble, performing throughout festivals, events, and in the history of black dance in America. Reggie is a member of 319 Dance Art and has performed at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, Cabaret Tango, the Willie Aggie Playhouse, and most recently he appeared in the short dance film When Our Roots Call, presented by the Colombian Consulate of Los Angeles and the Colombian Embassy. Reggie enjoys running with the Nike Town Running Club and has completed 11 marathons and a number of 10K races. And today in Dance in America, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Reginald T Thornton. Hi everyone, welcome to Dance in America. I am super excited about today's guest. He has been one of my most favorite dance partners, and today I have the pleasure to introduce you to the one and only Reginald T Thornton. Hi Reggie, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, B? How are you?
I am good. I am so happy to have you today because, you know, you're pretty hard to get into the social media scene. Like everybody's always saying, oh my God, you know, how can we find him? How can we know more about him? And you're such a mystery because you're not on Instagram, you're not on Facebook. It's just your name is everywhere.
Well, B, it's like this. I am finally going to come to the 21st century. I am going to start being active on social media. I think I've missed out on so many opportunities and so many things by not being on social media. And my sister, well, for instance, my niece, she says, Uncle Reggie, I've been asking you to be my friend for the last 8 years, and you haven't accepted my friendship yet. And I told her like this. I said, I have 2 friends on Facebook, which I only check like every once or twice a year or something like that. I have 2 friends on Facebook, and I accepted them by mistake. But I'm going to rectify that, and I'm going to become active on Facebook within the next month and a half or so, for sure. Be able to contact me.
Well, I think what's fascinating is that even though you have no social media presence, whenever you perform with anyone that does have social media, we're sharing your photos and we post things. And so people have been seeing what you do and what a beautiful dancer and choreographer you are. You just don't know it because you're not there to see the comments and to reply to the people when they see your pictures. So that's, you know, maybe it's not a bad thing. I don't know, because you keep the mystery going.
Well, you know, I do appreciate all those people who do pass my photographs and my videos and stuff around, but I do appreciate that. And I do hear about it too, because people tell me, I saw you do this, I saw you do that. And I say, how did you see that? Oh, I saw it on Facebook. So I know that I'm listening to this underground dialogue that's being taking place without my knowledge.
Without
so I
your
appreciate
knowledge.
sharing all the photographs and videos and things like that. I really do. Thank you, guys.
Of course. So Reggie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you do and where do you, like, how do you begin dancing, how you got into this crazy world of dance and performing and all of that. How did that happen?
Well, I think it started like this. When I was 18 months old, my parents and my aunts and everybody, they tell me that I was doing the cha-cha at 18 months old. And I think that's what started me to dance. And then everywhere I went, you know, every time my family took us on family outings, everywhere, we went to visit relatives or have family gatherings, they used to always have me to dance. And they used to always say, look at that boy, he can dance. He's limber as a dish rag. And I've always wondered, limber as a dish rag, what does that mean? And if you know what a dish rag is, a dish rag is something loud and everything. That means that I was very limber, just able to do everything. So I think that's how I heard the fact that I could dance. That's who told me that I could dance. That's me and informed me that you can dance. So that gave me the ability to say that I guess I can dance.
And
but really,
uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Did you start going to dance classes when you were little? And if you did, like, how did you start? Or which classes did you take back then?
Well, growing up in Gary, Indiana, I did not have formal dance training.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't think it would be too cool if you saw an African-American guy going to ballet class and doing that. So we didn't have, I didn't have that kind of training.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually start training until I came to Los Angeles, California, and started taking ballet. Although I did take some ballet classes in college, but I didn't really start formally training or seriously training until I came to Los Angeles, California.
And did you take, what was your major in college? I mean, we have been dance partners for such a long time, and I have never asked you what you majored in.
I have a degree in criminal justice and corrections.
Wow,
Yes,
Reg, that is new information.
Yes, I have a degree in criminal justice and corrections, although I never had the desire to go into that. But I just wanted to have something to fall back on, because I knew that going into the entertainment industry, you would always want something to fall back on. So the degree I looked at as like a key to an opportunity.
Yeah. It's always good to have that, just in case.
Oh, yeah.
But so, have you ever used it? Have you ever used it? Or?
Well, I did my internship as a juvenile probation officer when I was in college, but I've never used it. Although I did work for the California State Court of Appeals, Second Appellate District, as an administrative assistant.
Oh,
I did that for a couple of years. So not that I applied my degree to that, but it kind of helped because having some kind of background in law.
And so when you were working as an assistant, you were dancing here in LA. Is that how you were juggling the working as an assistant and then going to classes and that sort of thing?
Yes, exactly. Yes. I would work in the daytime and then take classes at nighttime.
Okay.
And so I was continuing my dance education as I worked in the daytime. Yes.
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of us do that, for a while before we can actually say that we support ourselves fully as dancers or artists. We have the two worlds, like the going to work, doing our regular 9 to 5, and then at night, taking classes and just trying to continue the training until finally there's a breakthrough, and then we move on to the arts 100%.
Of course, because we know as the artists, and especially dancers, we are some of the overworked people in this industry, but underpaid. And even though they have a good gig sometimes, but that doesn't always pay the bills. So you have to do something to supplement those jobs that's not paying a lot.
Exactly.
You have to work. You have to do something to pay for your classes or just to maintain a regular lifestyle.
Yeah. So Reggie, let me ask you, so once you came to LA, so you went to college, you got your degree, you moved to Los Angeles, and then you were working 9 to 5 and getting your dance training. Where did you go take classes here in Los Angeles, if you don't mind?
No. I used to take dance classes. Well, I started at Al Gilbert Dance Studio. Al Gilbert, that was on La Cienega Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And then I used to take classes at Lua Washington Dance Studio.
Of course.
And then I used to take classes at Dupre Dance Academy.
Yeah.
There. Take classes there. Then I think what my best education came from was taking classes with a guy named Chester Whitmore.
A guy we don't know at all.
I think Lula Washington and Chester Whitmore, they gave me such dance education that it just fulfilled me with such dance knowledge that I feel great about what they taught.
Of course. Oh, nice.
But I want to go back to when I really fell in love with dance.
Mm-hmm.
When I was back in Gary, Indiana, I had a group called Reggie and the Flamettes.
Mm-hmm.
And it could myself, my cousin Sharon Parker, and a young lady named Patricia Hartfield. And they asked me to do this talent show with them. And so I said yes. So we made up a routine off of a James Brown song, There Was a Time. I was in the 6th grade. They were in like 8th and 9th grade.
Uh-huh.
So it was at a school called Pulaski Junior High School in Gary, Indiana. So we made up a routine. And so the night of the talent show, I had on my tuxedo, my tuxedo. They had on their little green dresses. And the routine came, the song came on. Then all of a sudden, there was a part in the dance routine where I came out of the curtain, I broke out of the curtains, whatever, and started doing James Brown. And all of a sudden, the audience just went crazy. The girls were just screaming and everything. And that's when I said, I've got to have this. What happened? So we won the talent show. We won first place in the talent show that night. And my love from there extended from there on. After my cousins felt that they were too old to dance again, we formulated Reggie and the Flamettes with myself, a young lady named Lorraine Westland, and a young lady named Magdalene Bates. And so we formed Reggie and the Flamettes again, and we toured all through Gary and Chicago areas performing or whatever, and that's how I really became in love with dance.
Oh, wow. That's so wonderful, Reggie. I love it. And you've been doing it ever since, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So how do you
Yes,
prepare? How do you prepare for an upcoming show or an upcoming performance? I've been asking, a lot of the dancers the same question, because a lot, young dancers and regular people that are not dancers are always curious about what we go through as dancers. So what does Reggie do to prepare for his upcoming show? Like a special diet, exercises? Just tell us like all the things you do.
Well, first of all, I try to keep myself in shape, because in show business, you never can tell when a show comes up.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm an avid runner. I've run like 19 marathons, plenty of 5Ks and 10Ks and whatever.
Wow.
So one of the things I do is to make sure that I'm in physical condition to perform. Because as we do know, dancing is a physical activity, and you must stay in shape. You must have the stamina. You must have the endurance. And so I always try to keep myself together. But when I know I have a performance coming up, I hit the track even more so. I put in more miles. I do exercise. I do stretching. I try to make sure that I have my body properly fed. I try to make sure that I'm on a nice, nutritious diet to make sure that I'm not gaining any weight or losing any weight. Try to keep myself as much as possible. So that's basically my ritual. And make sure rehearsing a lot. Make sure that whatever I'm involved with, making sure that I get the routine down pat, and I'm rehearsing my choreography every day, or whatever it might be, whatever performance that I'm performing.
Oh, nice, Reggie.
So that's how I get ready for performance.
And you follow also like a clean, nice diet?
Yes, I don't eat pork or beef or anything. I ate chicken and fish and a lot of vegetables, and I love orange juice and a lot of water. Yeah.
What about carbs? Are you into carbohydrates at all, or not really?
Do you know what? I don't eat bread. I try to stay away from bread, because bread has a tendency of bloating the brother. So I try to stay away from a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah. I try to stay away from that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's so nice, Reggie. And what about rituals? Do you have any particular rituals? Some people like to meditate, some people like to pray, some people like to, everybody's different. So do you have any rituals before?
Before I do any performance whatsoever, before I'm in front of any type of audience whatsoever, one of the most important things to me to do is pray. Everybody that I'm dancing with, I make sure that we're all unified. All the steps can come together. The choreography comes together. We're all thinking together. We're all of one mindset. So it's very important to me to pray. Even when I'm doing a solo act, I make sure that I'm praying. I always say thank you to my Heavenly Father. I always thank my mother and father for all the gifts and stuff that they've bestowed upon me. And all the dancers or whomever I'm performing with, I make sure that we're all unified in prayer and in unity.
Yes, that's one of the most amazing things that you do. I mean, you have performed with us with 319 Dance Art, and you have performed with my students. And I think for them, especially for the young dancers, it has been so memorable when you call out and you say, okay, everyone, let's get into our circle before we go out there. And that's such a beautiful thing to cultivate, to be grateful for the art that we're doing, to be grateful that we're going to be performing in front of an audience, that we have an audience, and that we have a body that allows us to use it. So, yes.
As I said, I think it glues everything together, because God has given us gifts to share with people. And what we do on stage, that motivates people out of the audience. So what we feel, they feel. We try to give them all the energy that has been bestowed upon us. So that's why it's important for me and whomever I'm performing with to get out there and be unified and pray before every performance.
Of course, Reggie. And let me ask you, do you have any insecurities? Does Reggie have any insecurities?
Woo!
And if you
Wow.
do, because I think it's amazing as I have been doing these interviews, is the majority, I mean, the majority of us do have insecurities. So how does Reggie get out of his head and overcome those insecurities? So tell us what insecurities you have and how you manage them and how you get out of them.
Do you know insecurities? Yes.
Hmm.
One of my big insecurities, I think, is that I'm a perfectionist. You know,
Okay.
I always feel that if I'm not doing it right, I can't do it. You know, say
Yeah.
for instance, to me, I'm not one of these people. I didn't start dancing when I was 2 or 3 years old or anything like
Uh-huh.
that. But I found that when I did start my formal training, I was better than some people who had been training ever since they were like 1 and 2 years old
Yeah.
by the ability of me having, I guess, a natural knack for rhythm and just
Yeah.
being able to dance, being limber and
Hmm.
everything like that.
Hmm.
So I found that my insecurity is that when I'm working on a combination, especially when I'm working with a bunch of trained dancers who've been dancing for like 25 years formally, who've had formal training ever since they were 2 years old, taking ballet since they were 2 or 3 years old. I find that my insecurity is that if my pirouette is not perfect, I feel bad about that. So I have to work on that to make sure that it looks great. So my insecurity lies in the fact that if it's not perfect, I'm not happy. You know, so I just have
And we do
to
know about that because every
get,
time we have performed together, we do it over and over and over again until, I mean, when we did History of Black Dance in America, I remember that we would rehearse until 2 o'clock in the morning. Remember those days?
do I remember those days? Of course. As I say, practice makes perfect, and the more you do it, the better you become. You know,
Yeah,
and what you
absolutely.
do in practice, what you do in practice is what you bring to the
To
stage.
the stage,
So
absolutely. And you know, and it's so funny because that's one thing that they always say in dance is that um I think is something crazy like 2% is talent and 98% is work. So you have a lot of people with these amazing bodies and facilities, which, but they're not willing to put in the work. And then somebody that's
yeah,
not as perfect, is not the right body type, maybe began later in life because they put in the work. They are the dancers that get ahead in life.
yes,
So absolutely, it's like you are a true testament of that. Like it's not about your talent is great, but it's also how much work you put into it, and that's the
that's
main
right.
main thing is working hard.
What you put in is what you get out of it, right?
Hmm.
You put in a lot of time and work and energy, whatever. The audience receives that, and that's what they appreciate.
Exactly. So Reggie, how did you transition from dancer to choreographer? Like how did you do that? How did you, because I mean you have choreographed hip hop dances and things like that, and I had the pleasure of performing in them. So how did that come about? Was it a natural thing where you felt like you wanted to
You know,
create?
I think it's a natural thing because, as I was telling you about my group, Reggie and the Flamettes, we used to
Climates, yeah.
always come up. We did our own thing. We didn't have a choreographer or anything like that. This was just something that was innate. This was just something that came with us, came through our bodies, came through the music. You know, so it
Yes.
was something that just came naturally to me. Uh, to me, I don't consider myself as a choreographer, although I can choreograph. You know,
Yes.
some people can teach the music. Like one of the people that I admire most is Chester Whitmore. And
Hmm.
you also be because you got in the middle piece of music and just come up with steps just like that. To
Hmm.
me, for like a 5 minute routine, it'll take me about a week to come up with all the kind of choreography because once again, it goes back to that thing where I'm a perfectionist. And I
Hmm.
don't think that step is not good enough. That step
Yeah.
is not good enough. So I have to work on some things that I think is acceptable for the routine. So therefore, it makes me think that every step is not good enough up
Hmm.
until I just have to the point where time is running out. You got to put it together. Just
Yes,
make it work. That
of
kind of thing.
course.
So I think it just came naturally. Just
Just
making
naturally.
up steps, hearing the music, just letting the rhythm flow.
Of course. And which one do you think you enjoy more? Do you enjoy more being a dancer, getting direction from somebody, like from a choreographer, or do you enjoy more being the creator? Which one
I
is
think I enjoy more being the performer, being the
okay?
dancer. I enjoyed that most because if people don't realize, the choreographer has a lot of responsibility. You know, I always look at the technical side of things. People
Yeah.
don't realize what the choreographer does. Not only the choreographer comes up with the ideas, the concept, they have to come up with the music, they have to come up with the staging, you have to, know what works with one particular dancer's body. So the choreographer wears many hats, and that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it. I will do it if I have to do it, but I would prefer being the performer rather than the choreographer.
Rather than the choreographer. So Reggie, tell us a little bit about, because I know there's going to be a lot of people watching this and they don't know of your Soul Train days. So tell us how you got into Soul Train, and what did that happen when you had just moved from Gary, Indiana to Los Angeles, or had you been in LA for a while and you just happened to, or how did that come about?
Let me tell you about Train, how that came about. I'm going to go back once again to Reggie and the Flamettes, the group that I had in Gary. We were a group that we were really popular around the Midwest area.
Okay.
And so Soul Train was a local show that was only shown in Chicago and in Gary and the surrounding areas. So Soul Train, it was a little local show that came on Channel 26 in Indiana, that taped in Chicago at 141 West Jackson Boulevard in Chicago, Illinois, whatever. So that was a show that came on daily. It was a little dance show that came on in black and white television on a daily basis. So we had heard Soul Train was going on or whatever. So we happened to go to Soul Train. We made our appearance on Soul Train. I guess we were so dynamite. Don Cornelius loved us. So he invited us to come back to that show to be regulars on the show. So he gave us the Soul Train membership card as permanent Soul Train members, Soul Train dance members. So he gave us the card. So we made I think our weekly appearances like on Tuesdays or either Thursdays. So we appeared on the show. So all of a sudden, Don got this idea of making Soul Train a national show. So he asked my parents, could he use us for a pilot? I didn't know what a pilot was. I just knew that I'm going to be on TV, national television or whatever. So we made the pilot for Soul Train. Don Cornelius came to California and shopped it around. So he finally got a deal on Soul to make Soul Train a national show. So Don Cornelius made a promise, and he said, if I ever get this show off the ground, I'm going to send you guys to come on and dance on the national show. So this was about in I don't want to say the year, it was 1970, 60 something, 79, 71, something like that. Anyway, it became a national show. And so maybe like about 3 or 4 years later, Don Cornelius was over at his office in Chicago. And so we happened to go over there and we asked Don, when are you going to set foot? We're ready to come to California. We're ready to be on the national show. And this is what he said. Well, the show really haven't kicked off like I wanted to, but I haven't forgotten you guys. You know that Hollywood story.
Yeah.
But anyway, it took me from the time that I graduated from college to come to here to California to dance on the national show. So I think that had been maybe like about 9 years after the fact that we saw Don in Chicago. So I got on the show and I started appearing on the national show here in Los Angeles, California, in August of 1980 through December of 1991.
Wow, Reggie.
So that's how I started on Soul Train.
And how was that experience? Go ahead.
So I started with Don Cornelius before anybody had even heard of Soul Train National. But it was a local show, and we made the pilot for Soul Train. And so that's how I got started.
And how was that experience for you as a dancer?
That experience was one of the most incredible experiences of my lifetime because I met some of my friends that we became lifetime friends. For instance, my dance partner, Sheila Lewis, we're like brother and sister right now.
Nice.
And it was just an incredible experience because we got to see some of the biggest stars in the world. We were able to set standards for America. Actually, I think Soul Train was the platform to teach America how to dance because people tune in to see people do the latest dances, see the latest fashions. So we were basically like a school of dance, basically on television.
And then, and you know, that program went all over the world. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
once it went national, then it was all over. Because I remember back in the, you know, in the mid 80s, in the late 80s, I remember watching it in Colombia. You know, early
Yeah.
90s, late 80s. I was still with my parents in Colombia. You know, I was a kid, and I remember watching it, and it was amazing. You
Yes,
know,
it was.
and
And
then I got to meet you years later, and now and you have been my dance partner. It's amazing.
you know, it's so funny because I used to enjoy going to the airports and people used to say, Soul Train, Soul Train.
So great.
Especially Japanese people in Japan, they loved Soul Train. I
Yeah.
used to walk around the city and they used to see Japanese, Soul Train, Soul Train.
And I don't think they gave us your names. I think when the show came out, we will just see you guys dancing and the music and the guests that were singing, but we didn't. So, like in Colombia, we saw you guys, but we didn't know your names.
No, you didn't know your name, but I got the opportunity a couple of times to say my name when I did the Soul Train Scramble Board. That's when you got a chance to know my name. And then there was a time when Diana Ross was on the show, and I got a chance to ask her a question, and then Don comes up to you with the microphone, and he asks you your name, and I got a chance to say my name there. So
Oh.
those were a couple of opportunities that I got a chance to hear a person say their name.
Nice, Reggie. So besides Soul Train, because I know Soul Train has been such a memorable event in your dance life. Besides Soul Train, is there another? What has been your most memorable moment of your career? It doesn't have to be a performance. Like it could be as part of your career. What is one thing that you think has marked you or has left you like, oh my goodness, this really shaped me or affected you in a really good way?
You know, one of the great experiences that I've had as a dancer is being a member of the Black Ballet Jazz Dance Company because I got the opportunity to travel practically all over the world
Mm-hmm.
and for free, you know, and got paid. So that was an experience that I'll never forget because there was one particular time when we were on tour and we were in 30 different, no, we were in a plane 30 days in a row in different parts of the country and with different countries and different cities for 30 days in a row in
Just
30
flying.
different. And I thought that was a heck of an opportunity and something I'll never forget because nobody gets these type of opportunities to
No,
travel like that.
of
So
course.
that was very memorable to me. Another thing in my dance career was having the opportunity to represent the United States on a USO tour in Istanbul, Turkey. And when we were on the stage rehearsing, I got a note while we were rehearsing from a guy that said, he would like to come up there and talk to you. This is the guy that went to school with you back in Gary, Indiana. And I got the note, and it was from a guy, George Stone, that I went to elementary school, junior high school with, and high school with. He just see somebody from in Istanbul, Turkey, and you represented the United States, and somebody you went to elementary school with right here was just such a just like it blew my mind. So
Oh,
those type of opportunities to just have the ability or have the opportunity to travel all these different places and get paid and
of course.
never have had to go to these places. So
So
those
which
are
one was
some of
that? The
the.
last one in Istanbul, Reggie? What was the name of the Istanbul performance?
It was the USO tour. It was something that the United States that Bob Hope he started. It was
Okay.
something that Bob Hope started where he entertained all the troops from America.
Ah, okay,
So
okay,
that's what
okay.
that was. And
Okay.
actually on that particular one, I got a chance to choreograph like the opening number, which was
Oh,
a little short,
nice.
little number. So just to have the opportunity to do something like that and represent the United States was
Mm-hmm.
awesome for me.
Oh, that's so fantastic, Reggie. I love that. That sounds beautiful.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So if now we go into the opposite side of the coin, if you could change anything about the dance world, what would it be and why?
If I had something to change in the dance world,
If there was anything, is there anything you would like to see different in the dance world and why?
you know, if I think that more exposure to urban kids would be great, especially ballet and tap and all the other genres of dance, because in urban areas, those type of dances are not offered. Only thing that we know about, or the only thing that basically is a popular thing back there is hip hop.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that ballet training is very important. I didn't think it was important at first, but ballet opens you up so many opportunities and chances with it, because it gives you the opportunity to know how to present yourself on stage. It gives you poise and grace. So I think if I had the opportunity to do anything, I would put more dance schools in urban areas.
In urban areas. That's so interesting. It's so important that you say that.
Also, I would make dance a little bit more accessible as far as like cost, because to see different performances, it costs a lot of money. You know, dance are expensive, and I know they are expensive because we put in a lot of time, and you know, we need to be paid, and we're underpaid, and
but there has to be a balance. You know what? That's funny that you mentioned that, because there has to be a balance, because the dancers are not really making that much money, but the shows are costing a lot. So who is making the money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably the sponsors.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, it's so interesting because another dancer and choreographer that I interviewed said the same thing, that she wished there was more dance schools and more theaters. Okay. She's an actress as well, so she was saying the lack of art organizations out in the, like you say, in the urban areas, out in the hoods. You know, you go into these areas and they don't have ballet, they don't have theater, they don't have drama. They don't really offer anything artistic for those children, and it's so important that they are exposed to it. Yeah.
That's why I give Lula Washington, I give her a lot of credit, because all the dance studios that she's opened, she's always tried to stay in the urban areas, to expose kids, different things like that. But she's one lady, and I think she's doing an incredible job, and has done an incredible job. But we need more people, you know, opening up schools in those areas to expose these kids to those types of arts.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you, Reggie. So let me ask you, is there a person that has made a really huge impact on you, and why?
Yes. I'm going to go back once again. You know who I'm going to say? Chester Whitmore. I'm going to say two things. First of all, one of the people that really have me sitting here right now, and the reason why I'm dancing also, because of my boy, James Brown. James Brown was one of the to really influence. James, can I go back again? I want to say James Brown. I want to say my parents were always having music playing around the house, always dancing around the house. My mother and her sisters are always doing this dance called the bop, where they used to couple dance and do these type of things. But James Brown is a big influence, because that was the first concert I ever attended in my life. And to see him on the stage moving and grooving like he did, that kind of blew my mind. That's a whole other story in itself. That's another issue. But Chester Whitmore, I think he's an incredible guy. I've always said that I think he's Hollywood's best kept secret, because he's multi-talented performer. He's a multi-talented teacher and educator. And he's one of the most patient people that will work with you. And I give him lots of credit, because when I first started dancing with him, I thought I was awesome. I thought I was all that and some. And then when he invited me to dance with his dance company, and I went to the first rehearsal, and they were giving me different routines to do, and they were telling me, okay, can I do this combination? That's 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. I'm thinking, what? Because when I choreographed back home in Gary, I used to do it like this. Okay, we're going to do 3 of these. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do 4 of these, and we're going to do 5 of these right here. That was my choreography. So when I went to the first one, he was telling me, okay, do a pas de bourrée, and we're going to do 5 and 6 and 7, that kind of thing. I was like, what? But I've got to say, that's one of the best training that I've received in my life, because I'm an excellent counter. I can, the rhythm and everything is there because he embedded us. He trained us over and over and over and over again. And he's the most patient person in the world. I think that's what gives me the ability when I'm working with people. One of the things that I must say about myself, I give myself credit for this. I think I'm very patient. When I'm teaching someone something, I think it's important to be patient with the person. And that's one of the things that I credit myself with. I have patience. I will do things with people over and over again until they got it and feel comfortable with it, because that's who helped me.
Yeah.
And
then look, check this out. This is such a
always give it right back.
Yeah, this is such a beautiful moment, because you're saying that and you're talking about Chester Whitmore. So it's like from Chester to Reggie, and then from Reggie to me and Salvador when we were working in the history of Black dance in America, because here we are, Latin American. We had never done the shim sham shimmy, and all the rhythms were just like it was so crazy for us. And on top of that, Salvador didn't speak one word of English. And so you were the one assigned to teach us and to go over it with us, And so your patience was so beautiful, and you were so kind to Salvador and I all those months of rehearsals.
Yes, well, I must say, you guys, one of the things that I loved about you guys, you were always willing to do it over and over and over again. And you know what? You got it, and you were great. And that's what that's all about. And can I tell you this too? In all honesty, I loved working with you as a dance partner, because one of the things that I said, I'm a perfectionist, and you are too. You like to look good, and you like to get it right. Because there's been times when we were dancing together, I kind of missed a step, but you pulled me right back on step, got me right back on beat, because you knew what you were doing. I appreciate that, and I thank you for that.
A lot of times, that's what it's all about. Well, once we are on stage, people don't realize that when we're on stage, it's so important that we keep the that we keep the magic going, that we don't show the audience our mistakes, because after all, we are human and we are going to make mistakes. We're not machines, we're not computers. So one of the jobs as a dancer or as a performer is to know how to cover up in case there's some kind of mishap or some kind of mistake.
Right.
And I think that's when you have a good partnership with another dancer and you're working together. Of course, there's going to be things here and there that happen during the performance, and it is your job that if your partner misses something or forgets, you kind of within the movement, you kind of you create the magic and you bring them back, and it's like, and I'm sure that the same thing has happened. It goes both ways. I'm sure that there's been moments when I have forgotten or where I get nervous, and then my partner is like, it's okay, and and we continue, and the audience never sees it.
Right, it's a team effort, and it goes back to rehearsal.
Exactly.
It goes back to rehearsal. What you do in rehearsal, you do on stage. And if you rehearse enough and you know it, it's ingrained in you, when you make a mistake, the audience would never know, because it's so covering up.
Exactly. Right. Absolutely. It's so nice. It's always so nice to talk about Chester.
Yes, I always said, and I will always continue to say it, Chester is Hollywood's best kept secret. There's so many choreographers that I know for a fact that have taken material from Chester and used it as their own, and not even given him credit. And that's not right. That's right.
He is so, I think he's so full of knowledge, and his choreographic, wisdom is so big that he just gives people, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't feel anything. Like he lets it go, because it's his, like you cannot take that away from him, because it's him. He'll create, somebody takes a couple of his moves, but then he has a million more inside his brain.
Yes, he does. Chester's one of these guys, you can give him a piece of material, you can give him a piece of music, and let him hear it one time, and he has a whole routine in his head. And it's incredible. Exactly. That's one thing about it. He's a master. He's been doing it so long that it's just in him. It's just innate. That's why a lot of people, he's been studying dance for so long, and I've been knowing Chester for a while.
Mm-hmm.
People think he's a lot older than what he actually is because he has so much knowledge and of nostalgic type dancing that people tend to think that he's a lot older than what he is.
Than what he
But
really is.
he's a great guy. Great
He's
guy,
amazing.
a great heart too, and so
Yes,
giving.
absolutely,
And I think
absolutely.
that's what I think that has really kind of people have taken advantage of that because they take advantage of that good heart and that giving.
Of course, yeah. Sadly, that's what happens. But I think that, you know, he gives us a great lesson, which is you can't dwell on those things, and the fact that he continues moving, like he doesn't pay attention to any of that.
Oh no, he doesn't.
And he hasn't damaged his spirit either, because sometimes he could have become bitter or like resentful that this has happened, but he just keeps working and focusing on his work and on being a creator, which is amazing. And I think we all learn from him by being next to him and working with him. And I think you are like that too. I see you working and I see you creating and I see you always with such a positive and beautiful energy, Reggie. And it's such a pleasure to work with you always because of that positive energy that you have.
Well, that's what it's all about, first of all. And especially when you're doing what you love to do and getting credit for it and people appreciating what you do, it makes you happy because God has given you a gift and the ability to do what you do, and everybody can't do it and put a smile on people's faces. So it makes me feel good about myself and the way that I've taken care of myself over the years to still be able to do what I'm doing. So I'm happy. And it's about being happy about what you're doing and confident in yourself and what you're doing.
Absolutely. What advice would you give young artists, young dancers that are like, ages 10 through 14, 15? What advice do you have for them?
I would say if you have the desire to dance or whatever it is in life, believe in yourself because everybody is different. Everybody has gifts. You just have to use your gift as your best to your ability. If it's there, try to learn as much as you can. And one of the things I would have been told when I was younger, get in some ballet class. I didn't think that was important, but that's very important, especially if you want to dance. Because I'm still learning as much as I can. I'm still learning right now, even at this stage of the game, whatever. Even I've done lots of professional gigs or whatever. I'm still open to like learning new things. So I would tell any dancer, have confidence in yourself because being a dancer can be a confident buster because you run into so many dancers that have this air of I'm so great, I'm so great. You have to believe in yourself and know that you're just as good as anybody else, and everybody has their own uniquenesses. Maybe somebody is good at doing one thing, you may be good at doing another thing that's better than them. So you just have to believe in your gifts and what God has given you and learn as much as you can that can be. My motto in life is that look your best, do your best, and be your best.
Oh,
look your
that's
best,
beautiful.
Be your best. So just do all you can do to be all you can be.
Of course. Oh, that's wonderful advice, Reggie. I think that's so good that you say that. And I think it's so good that you encourage young dancers to take classes because, I mean, unless, of course, they want to do modern dance or ballet or jazz, there's a lot of kids out there that want to do what they see in the music videos. They want to do hip hop. They want to do urban dance. And they don't realize that those videos and all these performances are super choreographed and that they need to be part of a class setting or they need to receive that training where you learn how to work with others, where you know about counts, where you know about syncopation, where you know about rhythm, where you know exits and entrances and things like that. Because they see these urban or the hip hop videos and everybody's like grooving and dancing and doing their thing, and sometimes it looks improvised, but you and I know none of that is improvised. All of that is super planned. But they don't tell kids that. So you have these kids that feel like they're 13, 14 and they don't need to take classes because they have the rhythm and they have the style and they and then they go to an audition and they don't even know how to stand in a line.
Exactly. Yeah, because some dancers are incredible. Some you see some street dancers that are incredible, but you put them with some people that have had some training, whatever, that are street dancers also that have training. You can tell the difference. It's important that you take classes because you know how to present yourself. You know how to work the camera. You know what staging is all about. You know how working with other dancers is all about. So you need to just keep on training and educating yourself so you can become just that much more of a great dancer than the next person.
Exactly, exactly. So Reggie, what is next for you?
What is next for me? Getting through COVID-19 for one. Okay, getting through that, staying safe. But right now, just trying to keep myself together for whatever comes next. Because you know, in show business, your phone can ring at any time, so you just have to be ready. So my motto here is don't get ready, you stay ready. So what's next for me? Right now I'm working on, we're doing the Soul Train Parade 2021. I choreographed the number for the Martin Luther King Day Parade 2020 of this year.
Yes, I saw it. It was on TV.
So I choreographed, we did a number throughout the parade that I choreographed. Okay. So right now I'm working on the number for the Martin Luther King Day Parade 2021. Oh, and in between there, I'm just waiting for something to happen. But in the meantime, I'm just keeping myself together.
Of course.
I'm trying to work on my own thing, trying to get my little solo act together.
Yes, and then and you're still moving, you're still running, you're doing all the things, all your physical activities, or your conditioning and everything.
That's a must. I don't care if I'm 95. As long as I have the health and the ability to do it, I'm doing it. I train every single day. During this COVID season, yes. I have myself and a friend of mine, we have a routine that we do every day for like 30 to 45 minutes, a cardio routine.
Oh, nice.
To keep yourself. We do this every day. And I've not missed a day since, I think, I want to say the mid part of March. I do it every single day. And to me, I think it helped me a lot. I lost about 8 pounds so far, you know.
Nice.
But it's helping me.
And what is, I know people are going to get super curious about this routine. What is it? Is it like jumping jacks and push-ups?
It consists of multiple jumping jacks. It consists of lots of marching. It consists of a lot of like running in place to like house music. Good soulful music. It keeps you motivated. And one of the things I've discovered during this COVID season is Spotify.
Yes.
Where you can find all kinds of music. So I've been finding all kinds of tracks that I've been putting together that have had me sweating, like swinging sweat all over the place. That's what I've been doing. It's been a lot of just cardio things, jumping jacks, squats and things like that.
Squats and push-ups and abs. And how long is the routine? 45 minutes, you said?
30 and 45 minutes every day.
So like a high intensity workout.
It's high intensity. Yes, it is. High intensity, but it's good. And it has really just made me feel great every single day.
That's amazing, Reggie.
It keeps my energy level. So I have not missed anything. And as a matter of fact, it's important that you keep yourself together. Because I've been doing this thing where I've been sending my relatives. I've been doing like exercise. Yes, don't forget to exercise, because during this season that we've been all on lockdown, there's been a lot of people to gain a lot of weight. I read it to a friend of mine the other day.
Hold on, Reggie.
She's pulling like 20 pounds.
Repeat that again, because I don't know what you're sitting. Yes, because the signal went off for a few seconds. So you were saying that you've been exercising with your family virtually.
Okay, or? No. I've been making a series of videos.
Oh, nice.
Where they're like a minute long, and I've been doing some cardio things. And at the end of it, I always tell them and remind them, don't forget to exercise, just to remind them, because during this season lockdown, people are putting on weight and all types of things. So these are just little reminders that I'm sending out to friends and relatives to don't forget to exercise. And they're just encouraging them a few cardio moves for them to do.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good, Reggie.
because people are gaining weight this time of shutdown.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Yes, they are.
Uh-huh.
But and how do you deal with injuries? Do you ever have a minor injuries or little ailments because of your high intensity workout, or that doesn't happen to you?
Well,
Because you know that there's a lot of dancers that are anti-running. They don't really try. They don't
I know.
run.
Yep. People say, yeah, a lot of people say that dancing, I mean, running is hard on the joints. In which I guess I've been running for so long, on the track team when I was in junior high school and running all through college and just doing marathons. And running is just part of my life. And I guess when people say that, I guess I kind of ignore it and just work past it. And unfortunately, I haven't had any serious major injuries, although I did have a knee operation in 1983. But I've overcome that because I remember when I had a torn meniscus and I had my operation and the doctor told me that you won't be able to do this and you won't be able to do that. And I said, no, that's just a mind over matter thing. And I think 2 months after my operation, I went back and I was taking my physical therapy. I went back and he saw that I was bending my knee and doing all this dancing. He was there like, that's unbelievable. Because
Wow.
I think it was a mind over matter thing. A mind
Nice.
over matter. Because I refuse to believe what they say. I believe you have to work through your own. Everybody is different. What works for you may not work for me, and vice versa. So I think you just
Exactly.
have to work through things because there's a lot of dancers, and I know for myself too. Sometimes you're up there dancing in pain, and you have to make it seem like it's fun.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I haven't had any serious, serious.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
good, Reggie.
yeah. Although every once in a while the knee kind of messes with me, but you just work through it. You have to just work it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
All
working
right.
with you,
What?
working with you, be you give me some tremendous stretches. When I come and take your class, you
No.
you do some things that are incredible.
Ah, Reggie,
Keeping us
Reggie.
on track, especially when we're getting ready for a show. You come up with some incredible exercises and things for us to do to get ready.
Of course, yeah. It's so important for me that you guys are healthy and in shape, so that we're like ready to perform, especially if it's a full length like the one we just did
Yeah,
back
yeah.
in September. Yes. But I'm gonna start wrapping it up, and I wanted to ask you the last question, Reggie. Is
Uh
there
oh.
is don't worry, it's fun. I mean, is there anything that you would like the audience to know about you that we don't know?
Anything that that they don't know.
Is there something that people don't know about you that you would like to share with us, or anything about like like a couple of weeks ago I interviewed someone, a dancer, and it turns out he's a visual artist and he's never talked about his painting. Nobody knows he knows he's a painter.
Uh, oh, okay, something like that. Well, I guess I don't know what I can share this, but people who know me, I just like to share the type of person I am. Is that okay?
That's
I,
fine.
okay. I just like to people to know and who don't know me because I know I've heard several things. Oh, he said he did, but no. But I want to tell people this that I think I'm a You know, I'm a sincere friend. As they say, if you want a friend, you have to be a friend. I think I'm that type of person. I have integrity. I think one of the things, I'm very honest. I think I'm a hardworking person. I'm a person. I think your word is your bond. I think if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person I don't have to worry about looking over my back. Oh, I said this. I got to be a man of integrity. I think that's important. I think if you tell someone you're going to do something, you do it, even if it means inconveniencing yourself. If you say you're going to do something,
Yeah.
or you stand on your word. So I
I
guess
think that's so good, Reggie. And I have to say, talking about that, because, a lot of dancers can be flaky. And a lot of
yeah,
times people, like they don't realize, especially choreographers, when we're choreographing, people don't realize that when we're looking for dancers, we pay attention to those things. And we always call those dancers that have been committed or that were serious enough and respectful enough to say, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this, but at the moment I'm busy, because they know they have something else. But next time, please do think about me. Because there's been times when I have asked you to dance for me and you haven't been able, and you have been, you have been honest, and you've told me, B, I'm so sorry, but I'm not gonna be able to do this gig, or I'm not gonna be able to do this show with you. Keep me, let me know about the next time. And then when you do commit to us, you have been really committed.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate that, because people sometimes don't realize that. And, a lot of times I think dancers are such a pleasers, and they always want to please everyone, and they don't realize the damage they do by accepting a lot of things, and then maybe lacking
Right.
off on their commitment towards some of the many activities they chose to be part of.
Right.
So
Important.
it's always better to say you're not available for that particular performance or for this, than to say yes all the time and then flake out.
Right. And it goes back to me being on social media. Let me just being on social media. I think I've been very fortunate to work in the industry because I do a lot of. Well, this is one thing maybe people don't know.
Yes.
I work with a lot of award shows. I guess I could say that. I work on a lot of award shows. I do the Grammys. I do the Emmys. I do the Oscars for years. I do So You Think You Can Dance. I do Dancing with the Stars. I've worked on those shows
Mm-hmm.
as a rehearsal actor. And I've been working on those shows for years, and I love it. But I was going to say, going back to social media and being a person of your word, and by me not being on social media, and me still being able to work all these union jobs, because word of mouth travels a long way.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not on social media, I've still been able to still work on all these shows and do all these other gigs and not be on social media because you have a good reputation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People respect what you say, and they know that you're a person of your word. So you've still been able to maintain your connection by being a person of your word and sticking to what you say.
Absolutely, Reggie. Absolutely. Well, Reggie, thank you so much for this wonderful interview. I am so thankful that you took this time to be part of Dance in America.
Well, B, you know I love my dance partner, B. You know that. And I thank you and I appreciate you and I love you and thank you for having me be part of Dance in America. And I'm glad that you're spreading the word about dance because it's so important and it's such a great art to be a part of this community.
Absolutely, absolutely. Reggie, thank you so much. I send you a big kiss and a hug. I miss dancing with you.
We'll be back together, hopefully without a mask. But
I know.
I look forward to seeing you again. All right? Love you, B.
Reggie, take care.